Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. I'm your host, Javon Harrington, and this week we begin in the official start of Naruto King of Curses. What if Naruto was a Jujutsu Sorcerer? Part 1 of the graduation arc. This will be a 3-part arc that will cover the first events of our story. If you're not familiar, for the last 2 weeks, we've been doing some prequel stories, as you will, to flesh out and establish the lore of this world, emerging between Jujutsu Kaisen and the Naruto series. Stories that are similar in many ways and also different in others, but with a combination of unique styles, flair, and all of the action that you know and love from both of these franchises. When brought together, I think can create something truly amazing. Now, this isn't taking one character and placing them in another world. This isn't just placing Yuji Itadori in the world of Naruto or placing Naruto in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen. No, this is a true blending of the two worlds, their history, their lore, everything about them have been intertwined into one universe, where both Yuji Itadori and Naruto Uzumaki stand together as co-stars of this newfound world, where shinobi and cursed spirits battle alike. But how will things play out for our heroes in this world as they begin their journey to become the greatest ninja that have ever lived? Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. As always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. What is family? For many people, they say that it's the blood that you share. Some say family is what you make of it. The term blood is thicker than water, a parable that's been used plenty of times. But for Naruto, he couldn't define what a family was. From the night of his birth, the only thing he knew was loneliness. For a short time, he lived in the orphanage in the village hidden in the leaves. But once he became cognizant, capable of caring for himself, he was given his own apartment. It was small and cramped, but thankfully at the time he didn't take up too much space. The leader of the village, the third Hokage, an older man whose face had seen the grim realities of the world over 100 times, would routinely stop by every month giving him an allowance, allowing him to care for himself, his grocery needs, or whatever small trinkets he so desired. But for Naruto, he lived his life as an outcast. No matter where he went, the people looked at him like a monster. Whispers at every corner. It got to a point where there were some places he just couldn't go. Life in the academy, it was no better. He found himself as the dead last, the dead weight no one wanted. He struggled in his academics. He struggled in his shinobi training. Ninjutsu, pitiful. Genjutsu, none to speak of. Taijutsu, barely above average. And Jujutsu? Something that unsettled him. Their teacher, Iruka, taught his students not just the history of the world, but the skills that they would need to be successful ninja. The academy, while they tried to be as gentle as they could be, couldn't sugarcoat the facts of life. Iruka stood before the class. It's just as dangerous in the world, not just for the ninja you may encounter, but for cursed spirits also. As you can tell, Our village remains relatively free of them, but that's because of the great barrier that was put into place. Each of the great villages work with a similar system, an outer lining gate around the entire village, with strong seals and talismans. They ward off many cursed spirits, though occasionally some lower grades get in. Iruka will have the students follow him to the training hall, where Principal Yaga Masamichi, along with Vice Principal Utahime, would be waiting. In the middle of the arena, Masamichi would use one of his cursed puppets, one of his legendary techniques. The puppet, being a small green munchkin with boxing gloves on both of his hands, would pull from out of the closet what appeared to be a small goblin-like looking thing. The students were terrified at its presence. Iruka would explain that that was the lowest grade of a cursed spirit, a 4th grade curse. It was weak compared to anything they would ever experience. The vice principal, Utahime, would place a ceiling tag on the floor. After stepping away, the cursed spirit would race towards it. But the moment it made contact, it would be shocked, electrocuted, its body being dragged into the seal. "Can anyone tell me what just happened?" Iruka would ask the class, though many were terrified at what they had just seen. First, there was a monster standing before them, and suddenly it was gone, turned into nothing. Finally, one of the students would raise their hands, a young girl by the name of Sakura Haruno. "Yes, Sakura. I can explain it, sir. The cursed spirit, it was attracted to the ceiling tag because it's a combination of chakra and cursed energy." "Right, but can anyone explain the function?" Yes, Nobara. The function of the ceiling tag. It uses cursed energy to draw cursed spirits towards it. It's like a trap. Then, once the cursed spirit makes contact, the sealing jutsu pulls it inside of the seal. Afterwards, the chakra in the seal activates, creating the sealing barrier that keeps it from escaping. Correct. You both have been paying very well attention in class. The purpose of the sealing tags. They can be used to ward off cursed spirits or to lure them into a trap. The stronger they are, the more energy that it takes to seal them away. And the stronger the cursed spirit, well, they become least and least effective, unless you have more than enough shinobi to back you up. "What about a special grade?" someone would ask in the back. The principal, Yaga, would step forward. "A tag like this, even if you had 100 shinobi, there's only a 50-50 chance that you would be able to seal a special grade. It takes a special kind of ninja to be able to do something like that." "You mean like the Hokage?" someone would say. The children stirring at the idea of the Hokage, someone that they saw as an old man fighting against a monstrous curse. Iruka, however, would just chuckle. "Lord Third, he could expel special grades in his sleep. He wouldn't even have to worry about sealing them, though I suppose he could if he wanted to." The kids became mesmerized at that fact. "Wow, the Hokage must really be strong. Yeah, if he can take out powerful cursed spirits like that, like they're nothing." Hearing all of this, it even got Naruto a little excited. The way that they spoke with admiration for the Hokage, it made him wonder if he could be like him. Maybe. Towards the end of the day, as Naruto was heading home, he had to stop for some groceries. He would have liked to have gotten some Ichiraku ramen, but unfortunately he didn't have enough. So he'd have to go to the corner store and buy some cups. But in doing so, it often brought more trouble. Walking down the aisles, it wasn't uncommon for parents with their children to shy away from him, adults giving him dirty looks, and the cashier always condescending. But today, he was especially cruel. He made sure to count every yen that was given to him, every ryo, every coin, and Naruto didn't have enough. If you didn't have any money, why in the hell would you waste my time? You being here is bad for my business. The least you can do is be courteous enough to bring the proper amount of money and then get out of here. I'm sorry. If I need to, I can put some of them. Don't even bother. Just get out, you filthy monster. But sir, please, I'm just trying to. I said get out! The man grabbed a broom handle, ready to whack Naruto away, but before he could, he would be stopped. An older gentleman, along with a young boy who was in the same class as Naruto, approached. The old man grabbed the broomstick and flung back the cashier before pulling out his wallet and paying for the ramen. Will this suffice? Yeah. Keep the change. Just get out of here, demon lover. Hey, Naruto. Yuji? Yeah, it's me. What are you doing here? I was picking up dinner. Dinner, the old man said. You call this junk food dinner? What on earth are your parents feeding you? I don't have any parents. What? You're kidding. Me too. Yuji's grandfather would scold him. But Grandpa, we are alike. I didn't even know my parents. Never seen them a day in my life. Don't remember them at all. It's just been me and Gramps. Why don't you come by our place? Huh? We're having mackerel. Maybe you'll like that. Naruto was surprised. This was the first time any adult had ever offered to take him in, let alone feed him. But Yuji was excited. It wasn't often that he got to bring people over. Sure, he tried to make friends, but people always thought he was a bit off. They said that he was a little lost in the head, if you know what I mean. So it wasn't uncommon for him to be left alone also. But still, Naruto was coming over, so at least he would have a friend. As the boys would go to Yuji's home, they lived in a more rural part of the village, a place where people had their own farms and fields. For Naruto, he would be having dinner with the Itadoris. Him and Yuji would play outside while Grandpa Wasuka would finish preparing the dinner. That night, they had grilled mackerel with steamed vegetables and rice. And for dessert, there was even pudding. It wasn't ramen, of course. Naruto still loved Ichiraku more than anything, but he'd never eaten like this. It tastes great, doesn't it? Yuji would say. Yuji, don't talk with your mouth full. Sorry, sir. It's delicious. I've never had anything like this. Really? What do you normally eat? Oh, I like miso ramen. I like pork miso. I like beef. Sometimes I get shrimp ramen also. Ooh, I really love the ramen from Ichiraku and... all that sodium. It can't be good for you. Wow, you must really love ramen. Yeah, it's really delicious and it's kinda all I can afford most of the time. So, Wasuka would say, you're a student in my grandson's class? Yes, we're in the same class together. He's never paying attention, Yuji would say. He's always falling asleep or he skips. He's the one who's always painting the Hokage faces. Naruto instantly became fearful. The adults didn't like when he did that. Perhaps Yuji's grandfather was going to be mad at him. You wrote all of that graffiti on the third Hokage's face? Yeah. Next time, you should make the booger sign larger under his left nostril. I think it really gets a laugh. Naruto couldn't believe it. An adult that didn't scold him? Of course, Wasuka would follow up just as quickly, saying that Naruto shouldn't be defacing the Hokage faces. After all, that was just entirely childish and immature, on top of it being dangerous. But still, if you were going to pull a prank off like that, then the least you could do was do it right. And sticking it to the Lord Third, well, Wasuka wasn't necessarily against it. It was kind of an old funny gag. That night, Naruto, he felt at home. He didn't know what this feeling was, how to describe it, but he knew that it was something he would always cherish. So much so that the next day, he found himself waking up on a tatami mat on the floor, sleeping next to Yuji. The boys would groggily get up as Wasuka had prepared breakfast, urging them to get ready for school. Naruto had spent the night somewhere else. Of course, for Yuji, he had to focus on brushing his teeth, and he had to find a spare toothbrush for Naruto. The boys would head off to school that day, and Wasuka didn't really think twice about it. Though, the moment that the boys were gone, he rolled his eyes. You've been watching us all night. How long are you going to be hiding? A ninja of the Anbu Black Ops appeared in his kitchen. Lord Third would like to speak with you. I'm sure he would. In the Hokage's tower. It's good to see you, Wasuka. It's been a while. Hasn't been long enough. What do you want, Hiruzen? I would prefer if you use Lord Third when I'm calling you whatever the hell I want. Now, if you don't want to waste my time, I can get the hell out of here. I've got errands and better things to do than to be cooped up in this stuffy office all day. Very well. I'll get straight to it. It appears that you were with Naruto. It was seen by a few people, and it seemed to stir up such a commotion, I just wanted to ask what was going on. I saw a boy that needed to be fed properly, so I fed him. What else is there? You could be doing a better job, you know. After all, it was you who the boy's parents said to, I'm doing the best I can. Clearly, you're not doing good enough. I've heard about how that boy is treated in the village. I'd normally try to stay out of it, but when I saw it firsthand, it's sickening. That boy is the only reason why we're even in this village today. I would have thought of you more than just a coward. You choose to hide the truth, yet you allow that snake Danzo to leak the information, and I have put Danzo in check. Have you, though? From what I've heard, Danzo still strolls around this village like he's the prince, and you play the role of the pauper. You allow those other ingrates to follow along in his ear. If you wanted to make a change, why didn't you join the council? You know that there would be a seat ready for you even now if you chose to accept it. In case you haven't noticed, oh great Hokage, I no longer have a clan to speak of, besides me and my grandson. Everyone else was lost in the war that you and your cronies refused to end. We have lost much in the course of time. So what now? Are you watching after Naruto? I'm not claiming guardianship of the boy. He's a free spirit. He can do whatever he wants. I don't really much care. If he comes by, I'll feed him. That's about it. The third Hokage knew what Wasuka meant by this. In his own way, he would take care of the boy, though he wasn't trying to be overbearing. After all, dealing with Yuji was already enough of a handful. Still, it did allow the third Hokage to be somewhat at ease, knowing that someone was looking out for him. As for Naruto and Itadori, they started to hang out more, eating lunch together, sitting together in class, practicing and training together. Yuji got to see up close and personal that Naruto sucked at everything. When they got home, Wasuka would hear the boys regale their days at school. Over time, it wasn't uncommon for Naruto to have dinners with the Itadoris, or to be walking with them in public. As much as the people loathed seeing him, the stern Wasuka was always by his side, a grumpy old man with a scowl that could scare even the Anbu away. No one dared to bother with Naruto in his presence. And even when he wasn't around, well, Yuji was no better. One time, a group of older kids had decided that it would be a good idea to throw eggs at Naruto's head. Yuji, however, responded by throwing rocks. And unfortunately, some skulls got cracked. The boy was a monster when it came to his strength. Wasuka would watch over their training during the weekends, watching Naruto struggle with the clone jutsu. Yuji could at least make 3, but Naruto couldn't make any. And when it came to their usage of cursed energy, well, Yuji had a good enough feel for it. He could at least conjure it into his fist. But for Naruto, it was bad. He would go into a panic attack. A couple of times, Wasuka would have to calm him down and strongly encouraged him not to go into that field. But in the matter of his ninjutsu, there was one thing he could do for him. One particular weekend, when Naruto was 10 years old, Wasuka would teach him a jutsu that would help him go far in life. It's called the Shadow Clone Jutsu. The Shadow Clone Jutsu? Yes, I believe it's a clone jutsu that's more suited for your abilities. What makes it different from the regular jutsu? Yuji would ask. The standard clone jutsu they teach you in the academy are not tangible clones, merely illusions. However, Naruto's chakra is rather erratic. It's like a spiraling vortex of water. It's something that can't easily be refined, so it has to be output differently. Wasuka would walk through the techniques with Naruto, eventually helping him to get the master over it. And soon, Naruto had a new jutsu at his display. Shadow Clone Jutsu! In columns of smoke, Naruto would be surrounded by almost 25 clones. All of them real, tangible clones. Wow! You should teach it to me, Grandpa! Please, I want to do it! You're wasting your time. What? Why not? Come on, I'll show you! Yuji, no! Shadow Clone Jutsu! Ah! Oh, I'm tired. Yuji had only managed to produce 2 clones, and yet he was almost entirely pooped, which was strange because Yuji wasn't the type of person to tire easily. That's what I was trying to warn you about. You have a limit to the number of clones you can make before you get tired and rusted. But that's not fair. Why can he make a whole bunch of them? Because he simply has the chakra capacity to do it. Wow. I must be really awesome, huh? That's one way of putting it, Wasuka would say. Yuji, however, would start to pout, thinking that he wasn't as special. But Wasuka had a method to the madness. Naruto, the real Naruto, would sit beside Wasuka. Naruto, tell your clones to attack Yuji, all at once. Huh? Wait, what? First you give him a cool jutsu, now you're gonna have him jump me? Just shut up and get ready to fight. Just like I taught you. Now, Itadori. Fine. If that's really how he wants it, I'll take them all on. I'll knock every last single one of you out, Naruto. All right then. You heard him. Attack him. Don't give him a chance. All the Naruto clones would go charging towards Itadori. And one by one, in just one punch, poof, 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 poof. A dodge, a kick, a punch to the gut, roundhouse kick. The clones were dropping like flies. Naruto got pretty scared, seeing how he got mauled through. Wow, I barely even got touched. Well, we'll see about that. Shadow Clone Jutsu! Naruto would keep spamming clones upon clones upon clones, and Yuji kept knocking them down over and over and over again. Wasuka would grin at himself, because now they were getting somewhere. This continued on for a whole 2 hours. Before Naruto knew it, he felt like he couldn't make any more clones, and he was extremely exhausted. As for Yuji, he laid on the ground, also equally exhausted. He had mauled through almost 200 clones. Is that all you got? Shadow Clone Jutsu! Well, it seems you boys have finally hit your limit. Who's ready for supper? This was their new routine. Naruto and his clones continuing to attack at Yuji, and Yuji's taijutsu only making him more and more proficient. It was a way of increasing their power together. As Wasuka thought, Naruto was a one-man army, but Yuji, he was an army of 100 men in one. It would have a ping-pong effect. The more Naruto's clones sparred with Yuji, the sharper his skills would be. And the more Yuji battled against the clones, even if Naruto didn't realize it, it would actually improve his reflexes as well. Until eventually, one day, sometimes Naruto didn't even make clones. They would just spar one-on-one. And they were monsters. Eventually, the boys would turn 12, and soon, the Genin graduation exam was upon them. Over the last 6 months, Wasuka hadn't been feeling too well. So much so that he had recently become hospitalized. Now the boys were taking care of themselves, but at least they had each other. The third Hokage would pay him a visit. You seem to be doing well. Yes, I'm doing just fine. I'm sure I'll be out of here any day now. Wasuka, I know what's going on. I know you do. So why do you look so sad? Do you really want to see me in the grave that quickly? I'm so sorry. I wish... Oh, save it. I've lived long enough of a life anyway. I'm ready to move on. I only feel bad for the boys. I get to move on to the pearly gates. They're the ones who are going to be stuck in this hell. What about the boys? Hiruzen would say. Have you even told them? What? And just why the hell would I do that? You mean you haven't? Of course not. Those boys have a future. Right now, they're getting stronger day by day. If they knew what I was really dealing with, they would drop everything just to take care of me. And I've got better things to do than to spend my last few days here on this miserable planet playing damsel in distress. Those boys are going to have to face things. Things in this world far more than I ever had to deal with. I haven't been training them for nothing. I'm making sure that my boys will be strong enough that even when I'm gone, even when this world knocks them down, when it chews them up and spits them out, they have the strength to get back up. So don't you dare judge me. I hope you know what you're doing. Today was the day of the Genin graduation test. Both Naruto and Itadori raced out of their home. Naruto had long since moved into the Itadori residence, and the boys, they shared a room together. Today was a special day. They were finally going to graduate and become ninja. As they raced down the streets, fully excited for what the day entailed, they passed many of their other classmates. For Naruto, he had been waiting for this moment his whole life. We're gonna do it! I know we are! You're damn right! Today's the day we become ninja! And afterwards, we're gonna go to the hospital and tell Grandpa everything! I think he's gonna be able to recover real soon. We're gonna celebrate. We're gonna have a big dinner. Grilled mackerel, fried chicken. Yeah, and we're gonna have big bowls of ramen. You always put ramen with everything, Naruto. Of course. What's world without ramen? The students gathered in the graduation hall for the training. The ceremony was shortly to get underway. There were many prospects and favorites. Among them, Naruto and Itadori, they had climbed the ranks, with Naruto no longer being the dead last that he used to be. But of course, there were other promising ninja. Among them, two of the Academy's finest, Sasuke and Megumi Uchiha, the last of the Uchiha clan. There were many who expected them to carry on as either the rookie or co-rookie of the years, though Yuji and Naruto would have something to say about it. One by one, the students would file in. In the examination room, Principal of the Academy, Yaga Masamichi, along with Vice Principal Utahime, and proctors, Chunin teacher, Mizuki, and Iruka. Yuji would go in before Naruto. He would perform the sequences, a mastery demonstration of taijutsu, a display of ninjutsu, as well as being able to either cast or thwart genjutsu, and finally, trapping a small-grade cursed spirit with a sealing tag. Yuji would perform well and would be awarded his headband. Finally, Naruto would enter into the room. Vice Principal Utahime was particularly impressed with Naruto. He had gone from being the rapscallion to being, well, still a rapscallion, but he improved. Day by day, she saw it firsthand. and she was proud of him. Iruka, he couldn't hide the grin on his face. He knew that Naruto was going to do this. "Okay, Naruto," Principal Masamichi would say. "Show us what you can do. Clone Jutsu." "Right! Shadow Clone Jutsu!" The teacher's eyes would light up as the room filled with Narutos. "What the hell?" Mizuki said. "No way," Utahime said. "Naruto?" "You're always one for antics, aren't you?" Principal Masamichi said. "Well, you said I had to perform a clone technique. You never said which one. So I just used the one that works for me." "But who taught you this jutsu?" "My grandpa." "Your grandpa?" "Oh yeah, that's right. You probably don't know, but Naruto's kind of been spending a lot of time with Yuji and his grandpa. I guess you could say he's kind of been adopted into the family." That would explain a lot. But for Naruto to know a Jonin level technique, something that to some were even forbidden, what was Naruto really like? Naruto would subsequently perform in the rest of the examination, although there was one area he had to be docked points when it came to sealing the cursed spirit, or rather, the incident itself. They would let go of the 4th grade curse, a small, bat-like looking cursed spirit that came flying towards Naruto. Naruto would have the sealing tag in question, and at first everything was going well, until it wasn't. A large explosion would occur in the middle of the room. A fire would break out, and the kids would have to be evacuated. When the scene was examined, there was no tag, and there was no cursed spirit. Masamichi looked at Iruka. "I think we all know why that happened. We might, but the kids don't, especially Naruto." "Do you really think?" "No doubt about it. But the boy's so petrified he wouldn't even be able to understand. It wasn't him that expelled that spirit. It was another one." "You mean?" "I'm talking about it that's inside of him. Against a low-grade spirit like that, it would be like drawing a moth to the flame. Naruto probably didn't realize just how much strength he put into that seal. He didn't just try to seal it away. He completely eviscerated it." "Well, I think that just goes to show that he's still as immature of a brat as always," Mizuki said. "I, for one, am not going to vote for him to pass." "But Mizuki, you saw what he did. He couldn't perform the proper cloning technique. He barely got through his genjutsu skills. His taijutsu's improved, I'll give you that. Ninjutsu, again, didn't perform the requisite jutsu. And finally, his jujutsu, he was about to burn down the school. Please, I say we don't graduate him." "I disagree. His power might be rough around the edges," Miss Utahime said. "But he showed a remarkable display of talent and skill. I think he should." The score was 1-1. A student only needed 3 out of the 4 to pass. Iruka was already more than impressed, and he passed him. The final judgment came to Masamichi. He took a while to deliberate, Iruka worrying that maybe he wouldn't pass Naruto after all. But when it was all said and done, Masamichi walked through the charred room, pulled out from the box a freshly made headband, though it smelled like smoke. As he approached Naruto, he placed it on his forehead. Naruto looked up to the principal, surprised. I've known you since the day you first came to this academy, Naruto. There's no mistaking the work and the effort that you've put in, your dedication to your skill and your craft. They are undeniable. I pass you and grant you the rank of Genin. What? You mean I... You did it! You did it! I did it. I did it! We did it! We're getting! Yes! 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 This is the greatest day of my life! The boys would immediately run from the academy grounds, Iruka calling out, asking where they were going. We're going to see Grandpa! We're going to tell him the news! Watching the boys run off, Iruka couldn't help but smile. Congratulations, Naruto. You earned it. The boys came barreling into the hospital floor, the nurse having to shush them, but seeing the headbands on their head, knowing that they had always come to visit their grandpa, she couldn't help but congratulate them. I guess you boys do have big news. Congratulations on becoming Genin. The boys would race to the 4th floor, their grandfather sitting in the bed as Yuji would place down a new vase of flowers. Grandpa! Grandpa, we did it! Look, see? We did it! We're Genin! Yeah. You boys should be at home, eating dinner. I'm pretty sure you're going to have to get ready for orientation with your Jonin senseis. You should be doing that instead of wasting your time here. I keep telling you not to come around and... Yeah, Yuji said. You keep telling us not to come around and be a crouchy old gazer. It doesn't make a difference. We're still going to come by. Yeah! Plus, you've got to be getting better, right? You're going to be out of here soon, aren't you? Come on, we need to celebrate, especially before we go on our first mission. Where do you think they're going to send us? Where do you think we're going to go when... You boys need to stop... Stop being so impatient. There's still a whole lot that you need to do. Yeah, Naruto said. But we're all going to be home soon, right? About that, there's a lot that I need to talk to you boys about. Yuji, about your parents, I've been meaning to... You don't need to worry about it, Grandpa. You're my only family. You and Naruto. It honestly doesn't really matter. My parents, anything. I see the look on your face when you try to talk about them. So, I'm fine with things being just how it is. Ugh, you brat. Grandpa Wasaka would roll over to his side. I was trying to have a serious conversation. Here you go, shutting me off again. Still, I'm proud of you boys. The both of you. You'll grow up to be fine ninjas someday. Look out for one another. And try to help others if you can. Naruto and Yuji were turned around for just a moment as he spoke. They were setting down their bags. They were getting ready to ask what he wanted to eat. But when they turned, he wasn't moving. His heart monitor would start to flatline. Grandpa? Grandpa? Naruto and Itadori moved over to him, his eyes closed and his hands clasped together. Grandpa! Come on, wake up! Grandpa! Grandpa, wake up! The nurses would immediately rush into the room, trying their best to resuscitate him as the boys were ushered out. Grandpa! Grandpa, wake up! Come on, you gotta wake up, please! Please, Grandpa! Come on! Naruto, this isn't happening. Wait, please. Please wake up. No. No, please. Please. Grandpa. Grandpa, wake up. Grandpa. On a day of joy, a day of celebration, it would become a day marred in tragedy. For Naruto and Itadori, while they may have fulfilled a dream, what they lost, something that you can never get back. When a man is at the end of his life, they say he bargains for time. Because time is the one thing that once it's gone, it can never be replaced. And for both Yuji and Naruto, they learned the harshest lesson that life can ever teach you. No amount of time will ever prepare you for loss. This concludes Naruto, King of Curses. What if Naruto was a Jujutsu Sorcerer? The Graduation Arc, Part 1. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned tomorrow as we continue with Part 2 of the Graduation Arc for Naruto, King of Curses. What if Naruto was a Jujutsu Sorcerer? Graduation Arc, Part 2. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings, signing off, and I'll see you next time.